Your content isn't flopping because of the algorithm, it's flopping because your brand is chaos. Some creators are posting the same thing everywhere, and for other creators, Instagram is one vibe, YouTube is a complete other, TikTok and your blog is completely separate too. And that's not an aesthetic problem or even an ideas problem. That is a brand problem. So let's fix your brand today in one co-working session, so you are never searching for new ideas on what to post or what will make you go viral, but instead, people will come straight to you.
Hey everyone, we're the Branding Fix, two solo bloggers turned co-workers documenting how we're rebuilding our blogs and content in the age of AI. This is your online co-working session, so clock in, get comfy, grab a planner or something to write with, open your notes app, and let's get to work, because content creation and blogging is our business. Today we are kicking off the Fix Your Brand Challenge, and by the end of this video, you're going to have a one-page brand fix. You're going to know what you're about, what you should post, how that's going to lead you to money, and how you're going to do all of that without burning out.
But first, let's call out the chaos, especially for my lifestyle content creators and those multi-passionate girlies out there. Because if you're on Instagram, 1 minute it's all about the trending audios, the next you're posting inspirational graphics. If you're on YouTube, sometimes it's those long-form tutorials, and another minute you're posting day in the life ofs. For bloggers, 1 minute it's all about the SEO and topics to get traffic, and the next minute it is diary entries of everything you're going through. But hey, podcasters can get it too. 1 minute they're providing business advice, and the next minute it's all about parenting, and maybe they're going through a divorce. And on TikTok, you're doing those get ready with me's, but then you're also doing a side of accounting advice. Now, here's the thing. These are all great topics. The problem is the brand is not clear. And I know this because you keep asking, what should I post? You're searching for viral ideas. You're looking for a 90-day content plan. And you're trying to find all these quick and easy and fast hacks. But the truth is, what you really need to get clear on is your brand. Because if your brand is chaos, your content is chaos, and it really doesn't matter what the algorithm is doing, because your value is not clear to the people who are consuming your content. Because at the end of the day, it is all about them, and they're only consuming what is valuable to them and what is in it for them. They need a value payoff. So today we're fixing that. We are starting with what's broken, then giving you a simple North Star, helping you build your categories, find your pillars, get clear on your profit plan, and yes, we even have a rest plan too. And we're all going to do that today, and we're going to fit it on one page.
So step one is we're going to do a brand audit of all of the chaos that you have going on. And that can be whether you're already posting content or you just have all these ideas in your head. So we're going to do this together. The first thing you're going to do is figure out what is broken. For example, if you're an Instagram creator, you need to analyze, does my feed look like there's 5 different people running it? If you're on YouTube, look at your channel and just kind of think, do you have vlogs and tutorials and all of these different types of content, but do you have a through line that actually connects all of these things together to one core point? The next thing you need to do is what feels messy. Are you always changing things around? Are you changing your bio every month? And I don't mean just updating like your latest offer, but are you actually changing the identity of your brand? Do you feel like every day you need to figure out what to post and none of those things are cohesive, so everything feels disjointed? And the most important thing you need to figure out is what is confusing for your audience. Put yourself in their shoes. You are now a brand new person landing on your page, whatever channel page that is. You want them to realize what is it that you post about and why should they follow you if that interest aligns. But is that thing clear when they first land on your page? Or maybe you're just posting about all kinds of different things, and once in a while you are addressing the thing that you want people to follow you for. So you're going to pause the video here and you're going to write down at least 5 bullet points of what you've noticed by doing this audit on all of your channels wherever you're posting. So for example, if you're a wellness creator and you're looking at your Instagram feed and you have things that are just inspirational quotes, and you have also your wellness practices and maybe some eating healthy habits, but at the same time you're also posting your shopping hauls when you go to Home Goods or TJ Maxx, there is no through line in those types of contents that are going to connect them, and that's going to feel broken. Also, it can feel messy if you're always switching things around. So maybe for 1 week you are really into this one particular style, whether that is the style you're posting, your style of photos, the way you're speaking to people, and then next week it's a completely different person, and now you've completely changed what you are delivering for people. Maybe on one side you were very calm and soothing, and on the other you are just being upbeat and excited. That can come across as messy. It makes no sense why people need to be there. Or maybe you had a post that did really well and brought you followers, but that post was all about meditation and slow living. And now all you've been posting for the past month, it's all about girl bossing and hustle culture. That is confusing to the people that followed you, because they followed you for that slow living and wellness and meditation content, not for hustle culture. So you're going to write down all those things you're seeing, audit all of your channels. If you have multiple ones, do that for every single one of your channels, because that doesn't mean that it's translating the same in every single platform.
Now, step Step 2 is finding your North Star. This is your guiding principle, and we have our unique method for that, and we call that the AIM method. AIM stands for Archetype, Identity, and Mission. Now, I have some examples in my notes here to share with you. So first, let's address the archetype. When you're thinking about your archetype, the big question is, what role do you play for people who are consuming your content? For example, are you a big sister for anxious Christians on your blog? Or are you the fun coach for women over 50? Or are you that cozy homesteader who makes farm life feel attainable for people? Or maybe you are a systems guide and you're helping people become more productive in their day-to-day. Now, this can be applicable across niches, but I really want you to think about what role do you play in the lives of the people who are consuming your content. The next step in the AIM method is identity. Now, this is where you're really going to pick your vibe words. We highly recommend you start off with 3 because you really don't want to overwhelm yourself, but also people consuming your content. So, for example, we have a cozy, faith-filled, encouraging blogger for anxious women. So those are the 3 words that really zone in on identity. We also can have a wholesome, practical, and down-to-earth homestead creator. And another example could be a calm, organized, and motivating productivity creator. So sit with it and come up with your 3 words that can help identify you and make you clear to people consuming your content. The third step on the AIM method framework is mission. Now, after working through our archetype and getting clear on our identity, now we can really tie things together and create a clear mission statement. This is essentially your mission and transformation statement, because this is where you're going to fill in the blanks on our worksheet. So I help blank, so you're going to identify who that is, go from point A to point B using your approach. So here's an example. Going back to a faith anxiety blogger, a mission statement and your transformation statement could be, I help anxious Christian women go from constant spirals to calmer days using faith-based encouragement and simple rituals like herbal baking. So as you can see, we used the archetype, we infused it with some of those identity keywords, and we framed it using the template we have for your mission transformation statement. Another example, going back to that productivity creator, it could be, I help creative entrepreneurs go from scattered and overwhelmed to focused and consistent using simple, low-pressure productivity systems. So once you've gotten clear on your archetype and your identity, use our plug-and-play mission and transformation sentence to get clear on who you help and how you're moving them from point A to point B using your unique methods. Now, I know this is a lot to figure out in 5 minutes. However, we will have a dedicated video where we really get deep into the AIM method so that you can get super clear on your archetype, on your identity, and on your mission, all based on your end result and what it is that you would like to achieve from creating content. But if you have everything already down pat and you're clear on who you are and who you want to serve and how you're going to get them from point A to point B, feel free to share your mission and transformation sentences in the comments so we can share you on.
Step 3 is our C.P.R method. And now this is where you're really going to get clear on what it is you're going to post and what all of that identity that we just work with in your transformation statement, how that's going to be in a practical way, what you share with people. So C.P.R stands for categories, profit, and rest, because yes, rest is important. First, let's work with categories. You're going to pick one main category to start, even if you're only on one platform. So for example, for that faith and anxiety blog only creator, that category can be faith-based mental health for anxious Christian women. For the homestead TikToker or Instagram only creator, that could mean simple homestead and farmhouse lifestyle for regular families. For a productivity podcast only creator, that could mean gentle productivity for creative entrepreneurs. Now, once you have your main category, this is your core piece of content that you constantly post, you're going to now choose 3 content pillars that you can talk about for at least a year. And these are things that you're going to talk about relatively consistently, but they should also support your main category as well. So for example, again, going back to the faith and anxiety creator, that could mean faith-based reflections on anxiety, herbal baking and cozy rituals, and gentle mindset and daily routines. For the productivity podcast, for example, you can talk about weekly planning and routines, systems for content and business, and mindset shifts for overwhelmed creatives. And going back to our homestead creator example, you can talk about farm and animal care, farmhouse projects and cozy decor, and simple recipes and from scratch cooking. Now, with all of these buckets, you have plenty of things to talk about for at least a year. And give yourself that year. You can always talk about other things later, but this is where we're going to stay for some time. The second part of the C.P.R. method is profit. Because even if you're starting out and you're not monetizing yet, you still need to have a clear path to how you're going to monetize, even as you're starting out. Basically, where is the money coming from? So going back to our examples, the faith and anxiety blog could actually be digital devotionals, journals, calm day guides, maybe even a small membership to help people stay focused and stay on track. For the homestead creators, that could mean brand deals with farm and kitchen brands, beginner homestead ebooks, and maybe a mini course for people that want to get started with the homestead life. And with the productivity podcast, you can have digital planners, Notion templates, workshops, and definitely also memberships. So again, that doesn't mean that you're starting to monetize immediately, but you should still have that clear path of how you're going to make that money. And if you're on a platform that also allows you to monetize via ads on the platform, like if you're a blog creator, you definitely have ad networks that you can join. If you're on YouTube, you can turn on ads when you qualify. So that is another income stream that you have to monetize. This is just all about knowing how it's going to happen, now that you need to turn all of these things on and create all these products right now. And then the R in our C.P.R. method is rest. I think this definitely matters for all creators, because if you're not adding some rest time, you're definitely going to burn out. You should definitely decide what are your off days, like what days you don't film, what days you don't post, maybe even which weeks you are on maintenance mode and you're maybe just repurposing content. For the homestead creator, maybe that means that Sundays are completely off the internet. For the faith blogger, maybe you're not posting anything on the holidays, or you're only posting scheduled content during the holiday time. Or maybe if you're that productivity creator, you are batching content one week and resting the next. Rest has to be part of your brand, because if you're burnt out, you cannot deliver the type of content that is going to help people and that's going to connect and deliver value to them. Now, again, just like with the AIM method, I know that this can be a lot, and we have a whole other video talking about the C.P.R. method in more detail. So if you need a little bit more help with that, you can definitely check that out. But if you've already figured out what are your categories and what are you going to be posting, leave those in the comments as well.
Step 4 is filling out your one-page brand fix template. Now, we have a link to this template in the video's description, so you can grab yourself a copy. But what you can expect to find is that you'll have a space where you will put your one North Star sentence. You'll have your main category. You'll have your 3 content pillars, your monetization path, your rest plan, and your top 5 brand rules. So this is something we want you to take time to fill out, so you're very clear on what your content is, what you're posting, and who you are serving, and what points you will be taking them along your content creator journey. Now, if you want extra hand holding, we have a 10-day email challenge that you can sign up for. Now, this is the Fix Your Brand Challenge. It will help you stay accountable. There will be some hand holding in there as well. It's a 10-day email series. We will provide tips and inspiration and just, that little extra something that you might need, so you can get clear on completing your one-page brand fix, but also just get clear about the kind of content and who you serve as well. But of course, we don't want to leave you hanging, so here are some examples. So going back to our faith and anxiety blogger example, the North Star would be, I help anxious Christian women go from constant spirals to calmer days using faith-based encouragement and simple rituals like herbal baking. So the main category would be faith-based mental health for anxious Christian women. But the 3 pillars would be faith and anxiety reflections, herbal baking and cozy practices, and gentle routines and mindsets. Now, the profit path could be with the blog, because as you know, we are big advocates about using your blogs as an income path and monetizing your blog. So the blog itself could be an income path. You could also lean into digital devotionals and even recipe ebooks. The rest plan could be no posting on the weekends, staying off all social media on Sundays, and have one quieter maintenance mode month. So that could be Easter time, that could be Christmas. You select the times when you are just on content that is scheduled because you are resting. And one top rule could be, if it doesn't serve anxious women or support calm, it doesn't get posted. So this is like a clear boundary to help you stay on track, so that every piece of content is serving you, serving your audience, and it's taking them on a journey. Another example, especially for a homestead content creator, could be, their North Star would be, I help regular families go from dreaming about a slower life to actually living a tiny version of homestead living using simple, wholesome routines. Their main category would be simple homestead and farmhouse lifestyle. And their pillars could be farm and animal life, farmhouse projects and cozy decor, and from scratch wholesome recipes. Now, their profit path could again be their blog, because again, we are big advocates of monetizing your blog and making income that way, but also eyeing specific brand collaborations with homestead and kitchen brands. Another thing could be a beginner homestead ebook, because I wouldn't know where to start, and I'm sure there are other people who are interested who would also want this guide. And you could also do a start your mini homestead guide. You have a little corner in the backyard, how to start a garden with, just a little small space. All of that could be a monetization path forward. You could also have a rest plan where you're offline on Sundays, and maybe you take Mondays off too, because weekends can be super busy. You could also opt for slower content during the winter time. So at that point, you are just on a scheduled plan and you're rinsing and repeating existing content. And then finally, your top level rule could be, if it doesn't feel wholesome and sustainable, it doesn't make it to the grid. So again, those are key indicators of what to post, what not to post. So again, it keeps people who are following you on a clear path, and it's also taking them on a journey as well.
So your homework is simple. Just download the one-page brand fix, which you can get in the description, and fill it out. You can brainstorm a little bit for all of those steps. And when you're done and it's filled out, you're going to screenshot it. Don't forget to share it on social and tag us. And you're going to keep this page visible at all times. So you're going to post it or tape it wherever you sit down to do your work. Once you've done that, you can now officially clock out of all of that brand chaos. Now, don't forget to tell us in the comments what is your North Star sentence and what are your main category pillars. We want to see what you're building so we can help and cheer you along. Now, stay tuned, because in the next video, we're going to deep dive the AIM method. So if you're still a little unclear on how you're going to come up with that video will definitely help you out. So hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you can keep co-working with us throughout this whole challenge. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.